India-Canada diplomatic ties continues to deal with the thorny issue with each passing day. Now, the latest allegation from the Canadian side is that Indian government has tried to interfere in the domestic polls that has been held in Canada recently. There has been reports the commission has been formed, which is actually looking into whether Indian government or its agents had any role or interference in those domestic polls. On Thursday, there was a briefing of Ministry of External Affairs where the spokesperson clearly rejected all these allegations and termed them as baseless. He said that we have seen media reports of Canadian Commission inquiring into foreign interference, and he said that we strongly reject such baseless allegations of Indian interference in Canadian election. He also went on to say that reversely, there has been reports that Canadian government officials who were in India until some times ago, they used to have interference in the domestic affairs. Remember, the 40 diplomats from Canadian side were asked to leave India. That was mostly broadly because the parity in rank and strength that India has sought from Canada in the wake of those crises that has emerged after Canadian government alleged Indian agents' role in the killing of another terrorist, that is Khalistani terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar earlier last year. After that, there has been a nosedive in the bilateral ties and the latest allegations of Canadian government that there has been some interference by the Indian side in the democratic process of Canada is something that India has rejected. Mr. Jaswal, the MEA spokesperson, has also said that we have been raising this issue regularly with them and we continue to call on Canada to take effective measures to address our core concerns. That was regarding Canadian officials' alleged interference in India's domestic affairs. Now, Canadian government has been probing the role of India, China, and some other nations which may have had some interference in the domestic politics, and this is also coming at a time when both sides are not having a very good diplomatic ties. The commission, which has been formed by Prime Minister Trudeau, is set up as an independent commission, and that it is looking into instances of Indian interference in previous Canadian elections. And the commission has urged the Canadian government to share information about Indian interferences in 2019 and 2021 federal elections. And the statement that was issued last month, the Federal Commission alleged that foreign powers have the resources to interfere in political process in Canada and asked for supporting materials from Canada, from Ottawa. There have been some of the lawmakers, especially those who have been tilted towards Khalistan and anti-India. They have also raised such issues of India's interference in the Canadian democratic process. We'll have to see from here onwards, after India has rejected Canadian side's allegation, what kind of response is going to come from the Canadian side, because they are apparently dealing and probing the materials which will be supported by the Canadian government to that independent commission of inquiry that will assess whether Indian government or Indian agencies had any role or any interference in the domestic polling process in Canada. Sir, Sheikh Side from CNN News 18. My question is regarding Canadian government's latest stance on inquiry to foreign intelligence interference that is going to scrutinize India's role in that. A public inquiry into the foreign interference by the Federal Electoral Process and Democratic Institution has announced that it has requested the Canadian government to provide information related to the Indian government's role in the elections in Canada. Even some of the Canadian lawmakers have also raised the issue. So, you have any comment on that?
Regarding your question, Abhishek, we've seen media reports about Canadian Commission inquiring into strongly reject all such baseless allegations of Indian interference in Canadian elections. It is not Government of India's policy to interfere in democratic processes of other countries. In fact, quite on the reverse, it is Canada which has been interfering in our internal affairs. We have been raising this issue regularly with them. We continue to call on Canada to take effective measures to address our core concerns.